That's what we're gonna do. What's happening, y'all? It's With Love here in my living room today. Hope you're doing well. That was fun. Beat. Breakdown. Breaking down the beat. So I get the sample in an email from Mr. Frosty, aka the People's Supplier, and it's my sample. So I already had it. Ooh, I guess I should talk about the sample, huh? Story time. Years ago, my grandparents took me to this museum full of instruments that played themselves. I'm talking pianos, organs, violins, drums, all steampunked up with gears and gizmos, so you can just hit a button and turn a crank or whatever you did, and they would play. They play themselves. And while I was there, I just kind of recorded all of the instruments with my phone on my lap. And that's what this is. This is a phone lap recording of a piano playing itself at the Steampunk Sample Museum. You can hear some voices at the start and the end of the recording. That is the museum curator person showing us everything, you know. That's me being stupid, and that's my grandma. So shout outs to GJ and Granddad. Thank you for taking me to the Steampunk Sample Museum. We made 4 songs. All of that to say that I already had the sample, but I got it again. And very first thing I do, I open it up. Not a reason. Why would I do that? Not in Pro Tools. Not in Pro Tools. You might think that I loaded up into RX first to get rid of some background noise or electrical hum or something like that, but I already did that before I even sent the sample to Mr. Frosty, aka the People's Supplier, in the first place. So that's cool. We get to skip a little bit of busy work and go straight into some other busy work in Melodyne. Okay, so Melodyne is pretty smart. I gave it the piano recording, and right away it knows about all of the notes that the piano played. And it knows about the tempo that the piano is playing at any given moment. So all of the tempo fluctuations that happen when stinky little humans play music, you know, all those speeding ups and slowings downs and dramatic pauses that humans do, Melodyne knows about all that. And you can see it represented by this fun little squiggly snake here. You know, the whole point of this museum is that nobody's playing the instruments, right? They took the human out of the equation, but they couldn't get rid of the humanity. So I'm going to. Yeah, you just hit them with the right click, make tempo constant. It's flat as a board. Fantastic. So now when we set the tempo right and bring the sample into our DAW, pause to listen, it's dead on. It's dead on the whole time. We don't gotta think about the tempo anymore. It's just, it has been handled. Easy little thing to do at the beginning to set us up for a lot of success going forward. So let's go forward, right? Please, can we make a song? Alright, let's get to it. Epic tutorial of how to turn a rinky-dinky steampunk ghost piano into a certified With Love piano. Step 1, smile. Now stop. Step 2, scrub through the sample and cut out some long held out chords. No melody wrinkly dinkly stuff happening on top, okay? Just long chords. Right click, bounce clips to new samples. Here are the chords that I ended up with. I named them. I named everything because I have problems. Step 3, take your chords and load them into an NXT. An NXT. Let's take a little listen to that. It's perfect. It's already perfect and we're already done. Step 4, let's curate a little bit. Maybe we don't need all 4 chords playing at the same time. Maybe we should tune our samples up to concert pitch. That's an idea. Let's pan our chords out. LCR, because that's how you know it's serious business, baby. Let's hear that. Alright, so this is technically already a With Love piano at this point, but wouldn't you know it, I'm gonna keep going. Step 5, make another NNXT, load your samples in again, tune them up to concert pitch again. Step 6, we're gonna use different chords in different ways to get a minor sound this time. Get rid of the major ones, I guess. Yeah, that'll get you a minor sound. Pan them out hard again. There's nothing in the center because there's only 2 chords, but that's fine. That's variety. Take a listen to that one. Awesome. So we got major, we got minor. They're both really wide and have too many notes playing at once. So it definitely sounds like a With Love piano, but it's still 2 separate MIDI tracks, so it doesn't count. Step 7, delete both mix channels. Get out of here. Combine the NNXTs, the combinator. Create an arpeggiator. I hope to God that it hooks up to the combinator automatically because I don't remember how to do it. I never learned how to do it. Yay, okay, it does. I used a rack extension, this AB12 switch by Pongasoft, but it's free and you could use a Line Mixer 62. Step 8, flip that rack around, hook the NNXTs into the switch. But, no. Go into the combinator programmer and make a button to switch between the chords, right? Ba, 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 ba. While you're here, make sure that the NNXTs are not receiving notes anymore. You only want the arpeggiator to get notes now. Also program 2 knobs to change the arp length. Right. You are going to need those. Step 9. Step 9, do everything else. And you're done. You did that. You did it. That was you. Okay, what did I do? So coming out of the switch, it looks like I have got 1 synchronous doing a lot of heavy lifting. Doing a little volume ramp to give more of a pulse, right? Or more dynamics, right? Dynamics. Got a button here to double the speed of that ramp when I'm gonna get high. I get the size parameter on the reverb for the synchronous, changing with this pulsar here. I'm mixing that in with a knob. Got a little distortion filter combination, putting that in with a button. And everything else is just mixing stuff, I think. Mag, EQ, a little bit of tasty Juno chorus. Got a utility plugin at the end to automate the level. That's boring. And compressor, sidechain, Q. The next sound, that's a segue. So this is also the sample. Some things have happened to the sample to get it to this point. Let's go back to Melodyne. We're gonna be here a lot today. Go up here into this little key box, change your key to B flat, pentatonic major. We're gonna right click this little G clef, key snap, pitch tool. You see where we're going with this. Control A, select all the notes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Are you ready? Double click. Okay, next. Oh, no, we're not done yet. Go into the sound editor and crank up the emphasis slider. What is the emphasis slider? The manual says, as you move this slider from the midpoint towards the right, any differences between the spectra of the notes being sounded and the mean spectrum are increased. Everybody got that? You turn it up to 200% and it does this. So I just kind of slapped it on top of my song that I had so far, changed the pitch a little bit to follow the chords, right? And it's really good. I really like it. It's kind of a lot. So I'm breaking it up, making it a little more rhythmic with the alligator. This alligator preset. There was a delay on one of the bands just in the preset, right? And sometimes I liked it, sometimes I didn't. So I'm automating that in sometimes. Lots of distortion, more distortion, clipping, and then lots of bad high frequencies out in my ears for some reason. Free rack extension to automate the gain that I forgot that I had when I made the piano. I am still using relay though to time delay the gate 12 milliseconds later, further this way, later, because I thought it just kind of grooved a little better if it was later. I'm like a ding dang groove scientist right now. All right, recap. I've got 2 good sounds out of the sample. Got a cool chord sound to build my song out of. Got a cool textury sound to add some interest, a little spice. Let's get a lead or 2. Back to Melodyne. So the sample has lots of good high notes in it already that we could make leads out of. But, oh no, there's all these chords and bass notes underneath the high stuff. All these other notes underneath the high notes. What are we gonna do? Oh no. So I wanna be really clear about what we just did. This is not a high pass filter. If we used a filter to, filter out the low frequencies and isolate the higher stuff, we would still have all these overtones in that higher register cluttering up this bass. So what we have done with that select and delete is we have removed all of that information, the overtones and everything. So it really is just the high notes that are left for us to cut up and put into grain. Grain. Like this. And this. I did some panning and phasing stuff so the 2 leads kind of move around in the stereo field at different speeds, right? But like the actual granular synthesis of it is not very complicated. These are pretty simple patches. Next, a couple more. These last couple sounds, I'm doing that same key snap pentatonic trick. It's not as exciting the second time, is it? Except I'm using C pentatonic major instead of B flat because spice, little spice. For the chorus, I sped it up to double time, pitched it up 10 steps to get it to B flat because that's the key of the song. A little bit of stereo widener. Ooh, that sounds really good. Let's turn it way down so you can't hear it. It's just taking up space and ruining the mix. Same source material, so I'm doing something very similar here in the bridge. This one is not reversed, it's not as high in pitch, it's playing at normal speed instead of double time, and as you can hear, it has a little bit of distortion. You can have a little bit of distortion as a treat. Little gate on it sometimes to break it up and add some more rhythm. But yeah, same starting point, slightly different results. Here, but right before the chorus, I did use the museum curator's voice. If you'd like to sing, please feel free. From the beginning of the sample, right? I went back into RX to get some more noise out of it. So you can get away with a lot more noise reduction on a voice than you can on a full frequency piano before it starts sounding all watery and strange. So I did that. And that's all the ways that I use this sample. Everything else in the song is drums or bass or guitars or singings. And we're not gonna talk about all that, right? Right? I'm gonna hold my notes. Okay, on drums, the kick and snare are samples. I kept the file names as the track names so I could search them and tell you where they came from. So go do that.
Seriously, you are so lazy.
I'm not recording my screen right now. Leave me alone.
Sorry. Both the samples are from the Reason drum supply.
That's the kick and snare, but the cymbals are my... hang on. Are my Peisty PST-7s. Very shiny, mad fingerprints. Okay, so my usual drum recording process. When I get to the point where it's time to record drums, I need like a drum part to advance the songwriting and stuff. I have no idea what the drum part is gonna be yet. I might have a general idea. This time I had the kick and snare, basically how they were gonna be, but I never have a clue about the fills and flourishes and stuff I'm gonna put in.
So what I'll do is I'll close mic every drum
and every cymbal that I'm planning on using. If I'm feeling really fancy, maybe I'll throw up a pair of overheads on top, but I didn't do that this time. And I'll play through the whole song once or twice, just playing on that one drum or cymbal. Not worried about coming in on the right beat or bar. Not worried about, ooh, is this the right thing to be playing in this part of the song? Then none of that.
Just get an idea for a pattern, hunker down and just get it. Good hits on time for about 4 or 8 bars. Okay, that might be cool. Think of something else.
Repeat until the song runs out. Next drum, do it again. Next cymbal, do it again. Ended up with 5 or so tracks full of good 4-bar cymbal loops, right? That I can just slot in different places into my song, try them out. Or if I'm feeling fancy, again, mix the loops together and make something even more complicated than what I was playing. And I can do all that mixing between parts and stuff because I played each drum one at a time and there's no bleed. That's how I justify it to myself. Bass and guitars were handled by, handled by these cuties.
And I definitely do have a part written before I start recording with either one of those.
I don't think of cool ideas in the heat of the moment when I'm playing bass and guitar. I mess up what I was supposed to play and it happens to sound cool. So that's the difference between these two.
Bass got played pretty straight. I did have to slow the chorus down.
My little fingies got tired going so fast.
But the guitar was just on 1 or 2 chords at a time. I got really lazy near the end and started taking guitar and bass parts that I had already edited
and just transposing them down a couple steps because I was writing at a time and I didn't want to record anymore.
But since the transposition happened before it hit the amp simulators, right,
it still sounded pretty good. I've got guitar chords in the bridge where I used a capo. I've got other chords where I tuned the guitar differently. I'm not sure if you could play these guitar parts all in one go. I definitely can't.
The little bit of acoustic guitar is this one, nylon string sounding chef's kiss. Got an alternate version of the same recording where I'm cranking that emphasis slider in Melodyne again, and I'm mixing in between the dry and the very wet signal
with the Morphin XF Crossfader, a truly goated free rack extension that there is no substitute for in the Reason racks. Go get it before they make you pay. Why is this free?
The vocals.
So I had to bounce the beat out, right? Because CPU. Totally unfinished, okay? No bridge guitars or drums at all. Just the piano playing the chords in the bridge.
But I gotta do the vocals, so I bounce it out.
Put it in another Reason file. Slow it down, 5 clicks. Transpose it down, 3 steps. I sing the song. The song. Comp all of that down to a few tracks and bounce those tracks out raw salami into, can you guess? Melodyne. One more time. Last time.
Brought the comp tracks back up to tempo and pitch here in Melodyne because,
and I'm gonna read straight off my notes here, the Melodyne algorithms do it so fresh, so clean.
It's actually too fresh, too clean. This checkbox sibilant handling and these format correction sliders.
Melodyne is trying to help us make our vocals sound good, and
that is not what we want. So we're gonna uncheck that and just turn those all the way down. There we go.
So do all that, do my edits,
and then I opened Pro Tools.
Just for auto-tune. Literally just for auto-tune. Because I don't have Reason 12. And auto-tune is only VST3. And AU. And AAX. So I do the auto-tune in Pro Tools, and I bounce it out, and I'm back in Reason, finally, Jesus. For one last round of comping to all of these auto-tune edited tracks, really pick out the best of the best of the best to end up with one main vocal. One main vocal, all of that into Reason, into Melodyne, into Pro Tools, back into Reason, just for one vocal. And a couple extra parts in the background that are so quiet that nobody will ever hear them. I love it! And that's it, I'm done. That's the breakdown of my song. I hope you've enjoyed this beautiful journey that we've been on together, because I definitely did. I really did. I had so much fun doing this challenge. I want to give the biggest thank you to Mr. Frosty, aka the People's Supplier, for inviting me to do this. Shout out to Keys and Chris Reed. Also, I'm about to go listen to everybody's submissions, so I'm really excited. Biggest thank you of all to GJ and Granddad. Thank you so much for taking me to Steampunk Sample Museum. I hope you like the songs that we made. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe, share, follow. I love you. With love, I'm out. Peace.